Welcome back to the Beyond Two Souls commentary. Now we're in part 4, we're going into the Hunted chapter. Now as you can see, we've got some nighttime visuals going on, and in some parts these look really nice, like you get this scene of the train going along here, but in other parts it's just too dark for you to see what's going on. And that's an aesthetic choice that I've never liked in games, in films, in anything, because although I like a bit of atmosphere, I also prioritise being able to know what's going on. And if it gets too dark, you just don't. But we start out with Aiden being a bit of a pest and just knocking stuff everywhere on the train while Jodi's sleeping. And I kind of like that characteristic to Aiden, really. The fact that he can just do stuff like this without Jodi asking him to. Just gives him a little bit of personality to himself as well, which is always a good thing with a character. But at this point in the story, Jodi is 22 years old, which as we can tell is shortly after she left the CIA.
Aiden, let me sleep.
But again, in terms of the context thing, we know that she's not there because she's obviously somewhere else, but we don't know why she's not with the CIA, and it kind of makes it harder to sympathise with her character, purely because we're not aware of why she's in this situation. Because as we'll see in a very little while, Jodi is on the run, but I can't really relate at all because I don't know why she's not with them anymore, why they're after her. Shit, it's the fuzz. I love it whenever Jodi just randomly starts shouting at Aiden, because you think everyone around her can't see Aiden doing whatever he's doing, so she probably looks a bit crazy.
Evening. Man, return to your seat, please. Shit, that's her! That's her!
Action prompts incoming. Now, it is actually possible to get arrested in this chapter, and there are actually 3 different points where that can happen. There's this section here on the train, there's a section in the forest, and there's a section when you're on the motorcycle later on. If you manage to get arrested at all 3 points, and you manage to break out of it obviously, you do get an achievement called Houdini. Well, I say achievement, they're called trophies on PS3, I'm sorry, I got it wrong. But yeah, for some reason this is reminding me of the ending of, I believe, the first Modern Warfare game. I think that was set on a train at the end. It was either a train or a plane, but there's a similar sort of sequence like this. Oh, I should say that there's been a very long time since I last played that game, in the campaign at least, so I can't really confirm or deconfirm whether I'm talking bullshit or not. But yeah, this chapter has a lot of these irritating action prompts, and yeah, I sort of have to bluff it a lot of the time. Not sure how physically possible this is, given the speed the train's moving at. I will get the impression that, especially given how smooth the top of the train is and there's nothing to grab onto, that you would just sort of go flying at this speed, but yeah, I'll give David Cage some creative artistic license, I guess. Now, if there's something I've said about a couple of times in this playthrough so far, but I haven't really acknowledged properly. The soundtrack in this game is generally really good. That's not in the sense that it's the sort of music I would listen to outside of the game, but it's just so fitting for the things that are going on. We've got a tense kind of violin sort of piece going on here. It just works really well with the fighting that's going on screen. Somehow I don't think you have.
We need backup! She's getting away!
By the power of bullshit, I am free! And here we have the forest section. And what I was saying earlier about how some things are too dark to see what's going on? Yeah, this is exactly what I mean.
Yeah, I know. We gotta get out of here before they come back.
Because right now it feels like we're just sort of walking aimlessly. But soon it's going to get even more kind of bullshit. Now, can you see where we're running here? Because I sure as fuck can't. And when you've got a section where you can't actually see any of the environment, tied with the action prompts that don't tell you which button to press, you're gonna see me stumbling over a hell of a lot. Because it's little sections like this that I just really do not like. This looks really fucking painful. Okay, like, at this point, all you can really make out on screen are the L1 and R1 prompts, so it's like, just keep on mashing them and hope for the best. It got a little bit better for that split second there where you had the helicopter light on Jodi there, but as soon as that goes, no, we're back to too dark to see again. So right now I can't actually tell which way I'm running. Like, I could be running back the same way I came from for all I know, and I'm repeating myself a lot, but really this just isn't fun. I think I just ran into a wall there. Okay, finally we got a dog attacker, so something will happen. Look, dude, I know no one really liked ghosts, but come on. Of course, I know it's justified in context, but it's something that always makes me feel a little bit uncomfortable, seeing dogs getting attacked and that. And just like attacking animals in general, it's just something that doesn't really sit too well with me, but I guess that kind of actually enhances this scene a bit more, because there's a situation where Jodi has no choice but to hurt the dogs. So again, it makes the whole kind of terrified and on the run scenario that little bit more intense.
Where the hell did she go?
I don't know, mate. If you find out, tell me, please. Is this the same wall that I nearly ran into a few minutes ago or not? Because they all look the bleeding same. Yeah, I think the QTE was giving me a bit of trouble there, but this actually kind of reminds me of the first police type scene in Heavy Rain, where I believe you're playing as Norman Jayden and you've got to kind of climb up the muddy hill, and you got the really precise quick time events controlling whether you do that or not. This is probably the most gameplay we've had in a little while.
Nothing but rock. She'd never be able to make it up there. Shit! We must have missed him. Travis, bring back those goddamn dogs!
That's not a forced voice at all. Now it does kind of confuse me a little bit how the police had no idea that she might have climbed up there. Like, you heard one of them say there's no way she would have got up there or something, and they must be somewhat familiar with the drive adrenaline gives people who are on the run if they're in that line of work. Surely it would have been worthwhile at least investigating a little bit.
Go for it, Aiden.
Now I don't know if you can get arrested at this particular section by screwing up the item prompt. It would make sense if it was somewhere you could get arrested, because the only knowledge I have about the different arrests you need to get the trophy is from a listing of what you have to do to get the trophy. I haven't actually seen someone who's got arrested in this chapter. I think it's time for some unsafe driving. Unfortunately, it's nowhere near as hype as the driving section from Heavy Rain. Because I fucking love that chapter in Heavy Rain just because of how fucking stupid it is. And now it's for probably my favourite section of this chapter, the bike section. And the reason why I say it's my favourite is this is probably the first point from my first playthrough of the game where I just looked at what was going on and thought, okay, this is cool. Because it is, you got a bike chase section down the road, you've actually got light now, where you got the light from the bike. So you're just sort of on the run, you're just going for it, and it's awesome. Now, the bike control is not perfect, but it's better than it could have been for this kind of game. Because this is what I think of when I think of how they advertise it as an interactive drama. You've got something going on, but you're in control of the bike. Like, this works as an interactive drama. The other sort of stuff where you don't really do anything except occasionally press on the right analog stick from time to time, that's not interactive drama. That's just sort of a drama where you're sort of passively involved. Had the whole game been this kind of thing, it would have worked a lot better.
Hold your positions.
No choice. We're going straight through.
Now we're going to have to use the same bullshit power that we used to get off the train safely. But I know I mentioned it in an earlier part, but Aiden is basically the master of bullshit powers that's convenient whenever we need it. But it kind of comes with the territory of this whole spiritual entity kind of thing, really. I'm sure even after he said hold your fire a second time, they just kept on shooting regardless. And yeah, she's working her way off to Bakertown, which I looked this up. This is actually set in Pennsylvania, in North America. Which, cool little thing, I think. I could swear them coppers who just ran past must have been able to see her there. Especially given she's been stumbling around. I know this is quite a serious scene, but whenever I hear that kind of effect on a voice from a policeman, I always think of the opening cutscene from Sonic Adventure. You know, the "you are completely surrounded, surrender yourself" thing from just before you start to fight Chaos Zero. That's just what I think of here. Yeah, the sniper's kind of the first guy we've really got to take out, because he was the one who actually saw her in his sights. So now, not to be grimdark at all, but let's just have him off himself. Because that's one way to get rid of him, I guess. You can actually be responsible for a lot of destruction in this particular section of the chapter. And there is a trophy you can unlock called Aiden's Apocalypse. And what you have to do to get that trophy is to destroy the petrol garage, the church, the gun shop, and the helicopter that's in the sky. So if you feel like just having Aiden can bring complete catastrophe to this entire area, you can go for that trophy. I believe in this particular run I'm just doing the bare minimum that I need to survive. But a lot of that comes down to never really remembering what I have to do, so just sort of attacking things as I see them.
What the hell is going on?
This is lovely, isn't it, making teammates kill each other? Let's just bring chaos everywhere. That guy, I think you can knock him down either by using the car or by possessing him with Aiden. I didn't actually see the prompt to possess him at the time, so I just went straight for the car. It took that other guy a little while to realise that his mate was choking.
We need backup.
Aiden, they're coming! Keep them off me!
In position.
The door! Aiden, I can't get in! Open the door!
So now we actually get the prompt of what we're supposed to be doing, and that's letting Jodi get to safety. If I needed a little bit of chaos before I did that. I think you do actually have to start some of the throwing cars around, that sort of shit, and that's purely just to keep the police or like the SWAT team and all that distracted.
Quick, create a diversion. Blast the cars. You're getting closer. You gotta help me.
What's your six?
Does amaze me that the teams who are after Jodi do seem relatively comfortable to how I would be in this situation where cars are just sort of flying around. Because most of them are just still squatted behind their positions. Like, even after a car flies around near them, they just sort of run away and then they go stand back where they're standing. I think the biggie that I need to take down next is the helicopter.
Go, go, go!
They're gonna come in any second. Help me, for God's sakes. Take the chopper down.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
They're here.
Whee! Now this section coming up, as far as I'm concerned, is Jodi's crowning moment of badass here.
Tell them to leave me the fuck alone. Because next time, I'll kill everyone.
There we go.
Come on, Aiden. I think they get the message.
Join me next time for part 5 of the Beyond Two Souls commentary. See you then.